Welcome back to the old barn on Ann Street, Blacksmith edition. I lived in Toronto for 17 years and never thought I would say that I know a blacksmith, let alone that I have a blacksmith. But since we moved into this barn, we have a blacksmith, and he's amazing. So today we're calling this the Blacksmith edition because there's two different projects I'd like to talk to you about where we mention our blacksmith. In fact, we may even take you to show you what his shop looks like. So let's get started. So I want to talk to you a little bit about nails. Old nails in particular. You know, when we're redoing this barn, our idea is to use as many of the old materials as possible. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it fits to have a shiny new nail or a shiny new screw in the midst of all this old and beautiful wood. And so sometimes there's different kinds of ways that we're going to do this. I met a blacksmith, and we could ask him to make some nails. He gave me a handful of nails that he had worked on somewhere else, but I could have him make some nails. But also repurposing nails is a part of the project. And so there's different ways of finding nails already in the building, in this barn, that I can repurpose. And so let me show you how we do that. So as you can see, one of the downsides of reusing the old nails is they're nice, they look nice and everything, but sometimes they're a little bit fragile and you have to be really gentle when you're nailing them in, like the one in the video. But it takes too long to do that, and we don't really have enough nails to do all the things we need to do. Some of the things you can use those old nails and be gentle with, but a lot of times, like redoing this wall behind us from the episode a few episodes ago, we needed to do some really good nails. So we were able to find these kinds of nails. These are they're not old, but they are square-headed. They're marine nails, and we found them at a salvage yard and was able to buy a whole lot of them fairly inexpensively. And we've used those for this wall behind us, as you can see the way that the nails look on the wall there. And in some of the floors we've done upstairs, we've used these kinds of nails. We also thought about having our blacksmith make nails. He did make some nails, as you can see here. Janet has used his nails that he made for us to hang her mugs on the wall. But for him to make enough nails to do the whole floor, the whole wall, and all the project would have taken too long. It would have been too cost prohibitive. And so nails, it's kind of hard to find the old nails and to use the old nails. And in fact, old nails have been an issue in Shelburne for a long time. I've asked my friend Terry to tell us a little bit about that history of nails in Shelburne. So here's Terry to tell us a little bit about that.
When this town, Shelburne, Nova Scotia, was established in 1783, the material used was either found in the ground or growing on the land. That would be trees. Lots and lots of lumber was used. Now, much of the lumber was brought here from the 13 colonies, buildings that were disassembled and then brought here. Actual buildings were floated over. To connect them, they used various materials. Nails were the metal material, and they were expensive. They were hard to make. They were blacksmith nails made one at a time. They were used over and over again. So by 1785, there were two fire departments in the town, fire groups, and fire brigades, I guess they might be called. They were asked to start recovering nails by the authorities, and the only way they could get them, or the quickest way they could get them, was to burn the buildings. So over half the buildings were burned in this community of some 15,000, third largest community in North America at the time. So they burned the houses to gather the nails, and then those nails were used. I just wanted to mention Charles Morris. He was the supervisor surveyor of Nova Scotia, which at the time was the 14th colony, included Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Maine. He did the survey for Lunenburg and Halifax and Shelburne. So in his diary, there is an excellent reference to what was going on here when they began to burn the buildings. He found it rather distressing to see what had become of this great city. They had planned to be the capital of the then colony of Nova Scotia.
Thanks, Terry, for that interesting history of nails in Shelburne. Who knew? But today is the Blacksmith edition, not only because of the nails, but there's another project we want to talk to you about that involved our blacksmith. So I'm excited about today's job, or the task for today. We're still working on the barn, a lot of work left to do, but today's one of those exciting things. Our nephew, Will, does amazing work with wood, and he has made this new sign that's going to go out on the barn. So let me show it to you. So here's that sign that Will made. It's printed on both sides. We're going to hang it from a bracket on the outside of the barn so you can see it whether you're going up or down both directions on Ann Street. And we're excited about it, but today we're taking a field trip to a friend of ours who is a blacksmith, and he's going to make a steel ring to go around it and then a bracket to hang it from above. And so today it's road trip time, so here we go. Next time you're in Shelburne or come to visit us in Nova Scotia, we'll take you to visit our blacksmith. You will not be disappointed. But until then, here's a scene from next week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of the Old Barn on Ann Street. Why not subscribe by clicking the portrait of the barn and become a regular watcher? We would love to have you along for the journey. We'll see you next week.